Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Red Bulk Podcast. This podcast was created by James Schwartz, aka Talon Hatter, to facilitate the need of a community-centered podcast concerning YouTube and its surrounding medias. The idea is phase 2 of an ever-developing plan to provide a voice to the communities of YouTube. On today's episode, we discuss the start of the project, the structure of each episode, as well as the overall goal of the idea. I'm today's host, James Schwartz, known creator of Talent Hatter, the Less Than Famous panel, and, of course, Red Bulk Podcast. Now, when I first came up for the idea for a community-based panel at VidCon, I wasn't sure of the response I'd receive from everyone. Even though everyone I mentioned the idea to was excited for the project, I vastly underestimated the support I'd be receiving later on. Not 12 hours after the initial release, Hank Green of Vlogbrothers, the creator of VidCon, had given the project his support and appropriated panel space for Less Than Famous at VidCon 2013. Now, Less Than Famous was supposed to be seen as a finite idea, a simple panel at VidCon for the community. Everyone seemed to understand what I was trying to do, but as many things grow, sometimes they become hard to control. Many had said I was voicing what they had thought should happen. A community-based panel was something that they all desired as well. And this got me thinking, and I started a search for a community-based outlet that spanned across multiple people, multiple friend groups, and multiple communities. The search proved little evidence, and thus the idea of Red Bulk Podcast came to be. The idea of a podcast was quickly found to be my favorite form of media distribution. It would provide longer form of content that has been known to hold attention of listeners, as well as provide a mobility of the media that videos could not. For example, you can listen to a podcast while you're driving a car, but you can't watch a video. Formatting is going to start fairly loose. We're going to try and do news segments, we're going to try to do interviews, we're going to try and get some people on air to tell us some stories about different experiences they've had with the internet. Everything is going to be run through the Facebook page. I won't make majority of decisions concerning podcast length, finances, and various aspects until I consult everybody else. And that's because I want this to be a community-generated project. I'm just a gatherer of information and host at this point. I want majority of decisions to be made by the majority of you listening to this podcast. The Facebook page will also provide a medium of communication between listeners. It's going to allow people a way to connect to one another, as well as post questions and ideas they have for the podcast, which we, of course, will consider and try and produce. Now, the goals of the project are very simple. Number 1 is to provide a location for community-based discussion about YouTube and its various communities. 2 is to host a variety of guests from many corners of YouTube and online video communities. 3, of course, is to be as professional and high quality as possible. The first goal should be achieved with the simple creation and production of Red Bulk Podcast. In order to achieve the other 2 goals, though, I'm going to need your help to ensure they happen within a reasonable amount of time. Simply put, if you like the podcast, we encourage you to tell your friends about it. Tweet it out, share it on Facebook and Tumblr, whatever you're comfortable doing. In an attempt to make the podcast as professional as possible and as high quality as possible, I've also set up an account on Patreon.com. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Patreon, it allows users to tip their favorite artists per work they do. For more information, please visit patreon.com/about. That is patreon.com/about. The funds raised through Patreon will be used first and foremost to purchase the proper equipment. Currently, I'm looking at purchasing 2 high-quality USB microphones. One of these will be for myself, who is the current host of the show. The other will be used for guests and shipped around the country, provided that we have enough funds to pay for shipping costs and can work through all the logistics. This is an idea I really like about the project. One of the things I've noticed in many podcasts and in many interviews is that they always have people over the phone. I don't like that. I think that phone communication is kind of terrible, and people always sound really horrible and scraggly and scratchy, and it's not good. So, in order to address this problem, I am considering purchasing a small USB microphone and shipping it from guest to guest. I would also like to use funds to pay individuals who work behind the scenes with me, such as consultants and designers, just to name a few. I agree with the great Hank Green that people should be paid for the things they do professionally, and they tend to do a better job if offered an incentive. I hope that everybody is as excited for it as I am, and hopefully, fingers being crossed, we will get the support we need to make this happen. We are open to all questions and comments. You can hit us up on any social network, Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, or even email, all at Red Bulk Podcast. That is RedBulkPodcast on all social media sites. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Schwartz. Thank you for being interested in this podcast and this project, and for checking out the first pilot episode. I hope everything is going well with you, and I will see you all later. Music today provided by This Winter. Red Dawn, Red Dawn, Red Dawn.